What if I told you the Colosseum, that grand monument of Rome, was not just a stage for gladiators, but a trapdoor into something far darker? Beneath the sand, under the roar of 50,000 voices, there was another world. A hidden world. A maze of tunnels, cages, pulleys, and shadows. A place where men awaited death, beasts snarled in the dark, and the Empire's cruel machinery turned like clockwork. To the audience above, it was all spectacle. But beneath, it was horror. The year is 80 AD. Emperor Titus has just opened the Colosseum with games that will last 100 days. On the surface, Rome sees glory. But if you step beneath the arena floor, the air changes. It stinks of blood, sweat, and damp stone. Wooden trapdoors creak. Iron chains rattle. Slaves and stagehands push against massive winches, raising platforms that will hurl lions, leopards, and even elephants up into the arena without warning. Imagine sitting in the stands, watching sand shimmer under the sun, when suddenly the earth splits open and a predator leaps forth. That shock was no accident. It was engineered. These underground tunnels, called the hypogeum, were the heart of the Colosseum's illusions. They weren't built immediately. In fact, when the Colosseum first opened, the floor was bare, the shows more simple. But soon Rome's thirst for spectacle demanded more. By the time of Domitian, Titus's brother, the hypogeum was carved deep below the arena. 2 levels of corridors stretched like veins, connecting chambers, cages, and storage pits. Here, animals from every corner of the empire were kept: crocodiles from the Nile, tigers from India, bears from the forests of Germania. They were starved for days before release. The Romans believed hunger made them more savage, more entertaining. But it wasn't only animals. Men, too, waited here. Gladiators, criminals, prisoners of war. Some rehearsed their moves in silence, gripping wooden swords, knowing they might not survive the afternoon. Others prayed. And some, broken by terror, wept in the shadows. None of this was seen by the roaring crowd above. The audience saw only triumph, spectacle, victory, never the despair that fed it. Think of it, a man standing in the dark, hearing the muffled thunder of the crowd above his head. He doesn't know when his trapdoor will open. He doesn't know whether he'll face another fighter or a lion. All he knows is that the ground beneath him might shift at any moment, sending him into the sun and into the jaws of death. That waiting, that silence before the gate creaked open, was as much part of the punishment as the fight itself. The machinery that made this possible was brilliant. Engineers built a system of elevators and counterweights, operated by teams of men hauling ropes. A single pull could send a cage surging upward, bursting into the arena. To the spectators, it was magic. To those below, it was a prison that could open at any second. But the secrets of the hypogeum went beyond clever engineering. Some chambers were sealed, their purpose never fully explained. Ancient writings hint at rituals, whispers of sacrifices before certain games. Could it be that beneath the laughter and cheering, Rome hid blood offerings to gods of war and death? Others suggest that the hypogeum doubled as a torture ground. Not every condemned man made it to the arena. Some were punished below, in silence, their suffering hidden from the public eye, their bodies dragged away through side passages, never seen again. And then, there is the strangest mystery of all. In recent excavations, archaeologists have found chains buried deep, fastened to stone pillars, in places where no animal could have been kept. They weren't for lions. They were for people. Who were these prisoners, bound in the dark, never allowed even the chance of spectacle? Political enemies? Slaves who tried to rebel? Or something else? Beneath the Colosseum, the line between entertainment and execution blurred. The sand above was soaked with blood. But perhaps more blood was spilled below, unseen, forgotten. And that raises a chilling question. Did Rome's greatest symbol of glory also hide its darkest secret? The crowd cheered for games, but the foundations of their joy were built on screams that never reached the air. Step down with me into the hypogeum, torchlight flickering on damp stone. The sound above, the roar of 50,000 Romans, is a muffled thunder, shaking dust loose from the ceiling. Down here, the noise feels different. It doesn't excite. It terrifies. Every man, every beast locked in these cages knows. When the trapdoor opens, fate begins. The tunnels stretch in every direction. Narrow passages curve like the veins of a labyrinth. Wooden doors slam shut. Iron hinges groan. Slaves rush with buckets of water, torches, ropes. They whisper orders, shout commands, and vanish into the dark. For them, this place is work. For everyone else, it is waiting for death. The gladiators are here, but they are not heroes yet. Some lean against cold walls, silent, sharpening blades. Others kneel, murmuring prayers to gods who may not listen. A few, exhausted by fear, grip their knees, trembling. Their ears catch every sound, a lion's growl, the squeak of a pulley, the grinding of stone doors. They never know if the next sound means they're about to be called. And then, the beasts. Leopards pace their cages, restless, eyes glowing in the dark. A bear claws at the bars, throwing sparks as iron scrapes iron. Somewhere deeper, the guttural roar of a lion shakes the corridor. These animals were dragged here from far corners of the world. Many died during transport. The survivors became weapons of entertainment, their hunger sharpened, their rage caged until the moment of release. The system that held them was a marvel. Platforms, hidden elevators, rose through shafts cut into the arena floor. They were built of oak beams and reinforced with iron. Men below heaved on ropes, hauling the cages upward. At the right moment, a trapdoor burst open and the beast leapt into the sunlight. To the crowd, it was surprise. To the men working the ropes, it was survival. Pull too slow, and the machinery might jam, trapping you inside with the animal. But the hypogeum was not only about spectacle. It was also about control. The Roman emperors used these games as propaganda. They showed the crowd that Rome ruled the world, that lions from Africa, elephants from Asia, prisoners from Gaul or Judea, all could be thrown into the sand at the empire's command. Above, it was glory. Below, it was chains. Not every prisoner was meant for spectacle. Archaeologists uncovered stone rings set into the walls, with chains still bolted to them. These weren't for animals. They were too high, too small. They were for people. Why chain a man here, in the dark, when you could kill him in the arena? The answer may be darker than the games themselves. Some accounts speak of private executions below the arena, away from the cheering eyes of the public. Political enemies. Slaves accused of plotting revolt. Foreign captives too valuable to waste as entertainment, but too dangerous to keep alive. They vanished into the hypogeum. Their blood never touched the sand above. Their bodies left through hidden exits, carted to pits outside the city. There are also whispers of rituals. Rome was a city bound to its gods, and sacrifice was part of its fabric. Some ancient writers hinted that before great games, blood was spilled in secret beneath the Colosseum. Not in the form of a duel, but as an offering. Perhaps a man bound, throat cut, his body hidden before the crowds arrived. It was said the arena must be purified before the games began. The tunnels themselves seemed to guard these secrets. Some stairways lead nowhere, walled off long ago. Some passages are too narrow for cages, too deep for transport. Were they storage? Or something more? Imagine walking here at night, when the arena above is silent. The smell of death still lingers. The stone walls echo faintly with the roars of beasts that once lived here. The chains clink in the dark, though no one pulls them. A labyrinth of shadows, built not just for shows, but for silence, for secrets, for cruelty. And here lies the cruel irony. The Colosseum was Rome's pride. Its marvel. Its jewel. But its heart, the hypogeum, was misery. The crowd above laughed, cheered, and roared. But beneath them, men screamed, beasts howled, and the empire's darkest side was hidden in plain sight. And yet, this isn't the deepest mystery. Because some of the secrets buried under the Colosseum were never meant to be found. During recent excavations, archaeologists discovered tunnels that extend beyond the hypogeum, stretching outward like arteries into the earth. Where did they go? Were they escape routes for gladiators? Storage passages for bodies? Or were they built for something Rome never wanted us to know? The answer may lie in the deepest levels. Places so far below the arena that even today, they remain half-buried, unexplored. What waits in the untouched chambers? Forgotten prisoners? Ritual chambers? Or evidence of Rome's darkest experiments with life and death? The sand above drank blood. But the stone below, perhaps, drank something far worse. Deep beneath the Colosseum, beyond the known hypogeum, lie tunnels that most Romans never saw. To the public, the Colosseum was a monument of spectacle and triumph. To the gladiators, it was a place of life or death. But to a few, the emperors, the priests, and the engineers, it was also a vault of secrets. Archaeologists today have found sealed corridors that stretch far below the hypogeum. Some are bricked off, some collapsed, as if Rome itself wanted them hidden forever. In one chamber, strange markings were scratched into the walls, symbols not of Roman gods, but of older, foreign cults. Circles, stars, even crude depictions of a bull being sacrificed. Scholars wonder, was this part of the Mithraic cult, a secret religion popular among soldiers, where blood rituals played a central role? The Colosseum was not only an arena. It was a stage for power. And power, in Rome, was tied to blood. Some believe the emperors ordered sacrifices in these hidden rooms, offerings made not to Mars or Jupiter, but to older, darker gods. Gods of the underworld. Gods Rome never admitted it worshipped. But the strangest discovery lies in the subterranean water channels. The Colosseum had an advanced system of drains and aqueducts, some of which still run beneath it. Yet in one section, researchers uncovered a pool-like structure, carved smooth, deeper than necessary. What was it for? Some suggest it was part of the arena's naval shows, where water filled the floor for mock sea battles. But others whisper something else. That the pool wasn't for ships, but for purification. For ritual washing, perhaps even baptisms of secret cult initiates in blood-tainted water. Roman writers themselves left clues. Suetonius hints at emperors who dabbled in night sacrifices. Cassius Dio mentions that before dawn, rites were performed in the amphitheater, hidden from the public. Were these accounts exaggerated? Or did the emperors know that the Colosseum's shadows hid something too dangerous to reveal? Then there is the question of the missing prisoners. Records tell us that after revolts, like the Jewish uprising of 70 CE, thousands were taken to Rome. Some were paraded in triumph, some thrown to the beasts. But numbers don't add up. Entire groups vanish from history, their fate unrecorded. Could they have been kept here, beneath the Colosseum, used for secret executions, their bodies disposed of through the drainage channels into the Tiber? Imagine standing there, torch in hand, in one of these sealed rooms. The air is heavy, damp, filled with the echo of dripping water. Chains hang from the wall. The floor is stained darker in patches where centuries of cleaning couldn't erase what once happened there. You hear whispers, not from ghosts, but from the truth that refuses to stay buried. The Colosseum above was about order. Spectacle. Rome's glory on display. But below, it was chaos. Darkness. Ritual. Here, emperors could hide what they couldn't show. Here, blood could be spilled without consequence. Here, perhaps, Rome spoke not to its people, but to its gods. And so we are left with a question. When you stand today in the Colosseum, staring at the ruins of the hypogeum, are you seeing only half the truth? The games are gone, the cheers silent. But the stone beneath your feet holds the memory of screams, roars, and prayers that never reached the sky. Perhaps that is the greatest secret buried under the Colosseum. That its foundations were built not only on stone and engineering brilliance, but on silence. A silence that still waits, in the tunnels no one dares to open. So, what if Rome's most glorious monument is also its most haunted? Not by spirits, but by the truths it refuses to let us see?